This is a Headgum podcast.
No rap!
We can discuss, give me your truth, it never fails.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy Lil Real, and right now you're checking out Keeping It Real with
Young Wayne.
And today we have a special guest. Okay, I'm excited. First of all, two of my favorite shows. You work on those shows because they are great. Our guest today, Wayne. Introduce our guest.
So you're from Chicago.
You're supposed to introduce the guest. I just said introduce the guest.
Oh, I'm talking to her. She's from Chicago. She graduated from Yale. She is an excellent writer for Abbott Elementary, as well as was on the Black Lady Sketch Show. You played basketball at Yale too.
I did, yeah.
Okay, all right, we're gonna have a conversation. Hey, we got Brittani Nichols in here. Y'all give it up for Brittani Nichols, y'all. Brittani Nichols, what's the deal?
I always think it's weird when we just clap and it's just us.
Right, no, we supposed to have the claps. They're gonna come in the video.
It usually don't.
Okay.
But it's all good.
Brittani, from Chicago, south side or west side?
I grew up on Kedzie and Madison. That's where we lived when I was little.
Wow.
Oh, shit.
We're literally across the street from Marshall High School. And then we moved around a bit, and I ended up in South Holland for a lot of it.
Okay.
Went to Thornwood.
Okay.
Wow. So I'm from the west side of Chicago, which that's why when you said Kedzie and Madison, I knew exactly what you was talking about. It was a soul food restaurant over there. It used to be so good. Damn, I can't think of the name of it.
You talking about MacArthur's?
No, not MacArthur's. This soul food restaurant is not even there no more, but like my grandfather used to go there because my grandfather's church, Shallow Missionary Baptist Church, is right over there, like off Kedzie and Madison, right across the street from Marsh. So yeah, I know the area really well.
Did you ever have Smothers?
Smothers was good.
That's what I miss. That's what I remember growing up is the burgers from Smothers.
Damn.
Wow.
Oh, wow. But look, and then you lived in South Holland and went to Thornwood. Thornwood is a unique place because there's a lot of like really popular people that came from there. Like basketball stars.
Were you there with Eddie Curry?
He was before me.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a big basketball school.
For no reason. I'm like, wow, you're at Thornwood. All these tall motherfuckers.
I'm trying to see who she went there. We went there with Trey Blue.
Yeah.
Okay, Trey Blue. She was there with Ryan Henry. Shout out Ryan Henry and all the guys at Thornwood for sure. Okay.
Wow. So like, did you go to? Well, first of all, let's start with this. Like, because I always ask this because I know with me, right, when before I started comedy, I knew I wanted to do this. Right, I knew very early this is what I wanted to do. I was probably like 17 when I made the decision. Like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do for real. When did you know that you, like, because when you become a writer first, like, is that where you started in first, writing, or did you start acting before you wrote?
I was doing all sorts of comedy, actually. I was doing stand-up, improv, and sketch, and sort of like writing at the same time.
But when did you start?
Not till after college.
Did you know early you wanted to do it? Was you hesitant?
No, I had no idea. So that's what's so funny about being out here is so many people are like, "Oh, Chicago, so you know the Chicago comedy scene," and I was like, "No, I just was a child. Had no idea that existed because I was watching like Whose Line Is It Anyway?" But to me, I was like, it's just simply a television show. It never like crossed my mind that it was like, oh, but they do that sort of thing in Chicago. You could go see that live. You could like go do that. Had no idea about any of that stuff until I was like in college.
So what kicked it off in college?
I did theater. I did a play my sophomore year, and it's because we had this thing called Heritage Theater Ensemble, which like Angela Bassett had done when she went to Yale, and then it just like fell off. It went away. But when my freshman year, the black seniors that were graduating, did this play called The Color Museum, and I went to see that, and it was funny, and I was like, shit, theater can be funny? It just like blew my mind. I was like, what the hell is going on? What have you people been hiding from me? And so then the next year I did a play, and you know, it's funny because like being an athlete in college is like a job. You really don't have time to do shit else. And I was sort of realizing like, oh, but I do want to have time to do other shit. And it turned out that comedy was that thing that I wanted to be doing, but it still took me like years of just like discovering all the different ways you could do it, discovering that it was like even a job that you could have. Because I think, especially coming from Chicago, it's like, yeah, I know people do stand-up, but I wasn't putting together that like you could take stand-up and then get your own show. You could become a comedy writer. I didn't know that all these avenues existed.
It's so interesting because, like, you know, with me, I started stand-up in Chicago. I was like 19. And I didn't realize all the other jobs that came. Like, I didn't think past stand-up at first. Like, all I thought it was like, all right, or I thought acting, but like nothing. I didn't realize all the other things until like I, got deeper into it, which is interesting too because you went to Yale, right? Like, first of all, that's a huge accomplishment.
Right.
I don't even know if I know anybody from Yale till now.
So you went from Thornwood to Yale.
Yeah, I mean, I literally found out what Yale was from like Gilmore Girls. Like nobody I knew was going to like Ivy League schools. I was like, the Ivy what now? So I was like learning about this shit. And basically as soon as I put together like what it meant, I was like, oh, it seems like if I want to get the fuck up out of here, that's what I should do. Like, because I could have played basketball at other places, but I was like, but this thing seems to hold so much esteem and to be like this avenue to so many other things that I should probably just go there and try to make that work for me.
So did you get a basketball scholarship?
So they don't even give scholarships. So they do need-based scholarships. So I didn't have to like pay a lot of money because we didn't have a lot of money.
Right.
But other places, I passed up getting everything completely paid for to go pay like a few $1,000s a year to go to Yale. And
wow.
Yeah, but we're still Division I. So it's like you got to do all the work, but you don't get none of the perks.
You know what's interesting? That's actually pretty genius in a way. Because were you highly recruited?
I was recruited enough.
What were some
other
other schools that you turned down?
Well, like Chicago State, and then like University of Chicago, they were D3, but they were recruiting me like University of New Mexico. So like a lot of like mid-major, like
Just Robert
I wasn't
Morris.
like going to like UConn or nothing. You know what I mean? Right. So it was like I could either go play at like a kind of small D1 school that like isn't gonna really do anything for my pedigree. Like nobody's gonna give a shit that I like went to Ball State and I'm trying to do comedy. So I was like trying to be very like future focused and what was gonna help me.
Well, but you said you didn't find out about comedy until theater in college. So what did you go to school for? What was you thinking?
Oh, I went to school to just have money at some point.
Wow, that's real. Okay.
Yeah, because I mean, I feel like, this is just like, I didn't know shit. I didn't know anything. I knew if I stayed where I was from, what was possible. Like, I work at the post office. I could be a teacher. That was pretty much what everyone was like. You'll be a teacher one day, and that's because you're smart. You'll be a teacher. Maybe you'll be a writer. We don't really know what that means, but your right word's good. So it's just like, if I want,
right
even though I didn't know, like,
right word's good is crazy.
what was out there, I knew it was something.
You know she write words good. Did you write his Easter speech?
Because I was super into TV, but it was just a lot of like, and I love Dave Chappelle. That's become complicated, but at the time, like, loved Chappelle's show, like, loved Boondocks, like, all this shit. It was like baking, but it wasn't like the precise thing of I want to be a comedy television writer until after I graduated.
Well, that's interesting too, because like a lot of times, when we do have our favorite comedians or shows and stuff like that, I know with me, I started diving into it a little deeper. Like, some people just watch a show and that's all they do. Like, you want to read the credits. Like, okay, what does this... Did you do the same thing?
So then once I graduated, that's when I started doing it. I was working sports camps for kids. I worked at just Parks and Recreation Department. And I was getting home and watching TV. And then I started looking at like, oh, who's writing all this? And then I was like, oh, the people that writing this, all the people that starting this, they were doing this thing called UCB. Let me look up and see what that is. Let me figure out how to like go do that. I started tracking people's paths, listening to I was listening to so many comedy podcasts, listening to how people did it, and was just figuring out how to like chart my own way.
That's so fascinating to me because a lot of, and it's so, I like hearing this because it's like, it reminds me of my comedy nerd route, right? Being a comedy nerd, you just fall into stuff. You're like, all right, what does this person do? Why they do it this way? Why is this right here? How old were they? Like, you just start looking up everything. And I honestly, that's what I did with like Eddie Murphy. Is like, that was the guy to me. You know what I'm saying? That like when I read Richard Pryor's biography, it's like, oh shit, okay, this is how I could structure a joke. He was structuring jokes in the fucking book, which I thought was fascinating. Like, what was the first? Did you go to UCB first before you started like writing? Like, did you say, okay, I'm gonna take the improv class first, or did you take the right? Do UCB have writing classes?
They had a sketch class. I never took it though. I had written a web series before I started doing UCB.
So what did you do? You just bought Final Draft and just like, all right, cool.
Pretty much, yeah. It's just like when I was. I mean, to be fair, I was probably using the version where you can't even make it a PDF because I didn't fully buy it yet.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, because it was like Broad City was a thing at that point. It was like, I was like, this shit is incredible. I was like, and they just went and did it. And I was like, maybe I should figure out how to just go and do it. So I was doing a lot of PA work and meeting other people who like worked on production. And it was just a lot of people who were like, yeah, I'm doing this assistant job. I'm assistant camera. I'm, associate producer. I want to like level up. And so I was like, oh, well, I think if I just get all these people that are trying to level up, let them do that, they'll do it for free. We'll all do this work for free. And then we'll have this product at the end that we can then like use to be like, look, this was me actually doing the job. Let me do this job.
And that's what Issa Rae had said about working with people alongside of you, man. Y'all coming up together, so you know.
Well, it's interesting because you mentioned Broad City, and like around that time, so I did a sketch series called Friends of the People that was on True TV, and like Broad City, like all of us was in New York at the same time before any of this stuff happened. So we were all writing our own shows, doing this stuff, and so to even hear somebody being encouraged by that, what makes me happy, because I'm like, damn, we was all like doing this shit at the same fucking time. Like it was all our first like shows for real.
Oh, this has been some of the wildest moments in my career has been like all these full circle moments of like, damn, I went to see you do stand up when I first moved here. Now we're homies. Like all these people, I'm like, you all have been inspiring me. And that's like another thing that I try to like keep happening is I continue to be fans of people that I'm friends with. I continue to be fans of people that are working in the industry and that I haven't yet met or worked with, because that's, I think, what like keeps me going and keeps me hungry is like, now that I'm alongside some of these people, I want to be producing the same level of shit. I want to be inspiring the next generation. Like, I think it's just nice to like big up the people that meant something to you coming up.
I love that though, because sometimes when the good thing too, if you do things, we talk about this all the time, with good intentions and not even knowing that's what's happening, and like to hear somebody like from this perspective, like, yo, they was inspired. Like I remember all of us just sitting in a Brooklyn bar talking about the fucking shows, like they talking about episodes of Broad City, because Kevin Barnett, who wrote on my show, wrote on their show too. Like it was just like the same. It's so interesting. Like, yo, I was joking with them one day. Yeah, I remember we were all broke as fuck and just sitting there sharing some wings and shit. Talking about all this stuff. So what was your first staff writing job?
My first staff writing job. So technically like my first credited job was on Billy on the Street. Because I remember when I was coming out, they used to just hire like 25 creative consultants or whatever, and we would just like hand in a packet of jokes and ideas and stuff like that. So that was like my first paid thing, but the first like in the room was this BET show called The Experiment, which was supposed to be like Black Tosh.0. It was terrible. Don't make a face like you remember it, because I don't want you to remember.
I don't want to. Should I say who the host was?
Oh, you can.
Was it Brody? Yeah, I came and did that episode with Grace Geely. I came in and did the episode, and I never saw
Wayne
it.
brags about that credit.
Yeah. Me, Grace Geely, and Brody.
Like, what? That's crazy.
Yeah.
I remember that shit.
Yeah, that's crazy. That is wild.
It tried to be the Black Tosh.0.
With a white showrunner who had worked in like sports.
But see that I'm glad you that'd be the privilege shit that drives me fucking crazy. Like with our business, because it's like we have to be so qualified for shit all the time. And like, which sometimes I get mad, and I've said it before. Like I like hate comedy execs that don't know anything about comedy. Like you go to a network and they're like, I'm head of comedy. Like, you ain't never wrote a fucking joke. How did you get this job? Well, I used to work at AT&T. What the fuck? How you get this fucking job? I just never understood that shit. But because everybody I knew that was black executives had to come from some type of anything like that. And like, I'm like, what the fuck you mean? Like, I was manager at Best Buy now. Shit, I'm head of comedy over at ABC. Like, what the fuck?
ABC.
Who's your cousin?
Yeah.
But so then what was the first job you were proud of?
I mean, weirdly, it was before that, because I got that job from basically like half show running my own pilot that Issa did. A lot of people don't know this before, because, Insecure was before that even. Insecure was in development hell for like a few years. I don't even remember. It took a minute for them to pick it up. Issa was like still doing shit during that time. She independently produced 3 pilots. She had raised $150,000, went and found a bunch of like black creators that she liked, and independently produced these pilots. So I ended up making a half-hour pilot version of that web series I had done.
Wow.
Because I had just cold submitted my pilot to Issa and Denise Davis, who had been her like producing partner for a while. And they ended up producing it. So I was really spoiled because I came in being like, oh yeah, I make the decisions. And then went from like having a bunch of power in that on that show and being able to like really see out a creative limited, because it was only $50,000, but still my creative vision, and then went all the way backwards to like staff writing and having to work my way back up to being in positions where I get to like have a say in the like sort of end product again.
You know what's I feel like Issa is such a connector, man. You know what I mean? Like, it's every time I hear a story or talk to somebody, I'm like, you too? God damn. But I'm always so impressed by that, right? Especially like, because what did Issa go to school at?
From Stanford.
Ivy League black people. Did y'all meet somewhere, or how did that happen? Or just happen to be that's what it is?
I honestly don't know what it is, because it's not like it's like there's this like comedy cohort of people, like, white people have Harvard. If you fucking walk into a comedy room, you can't be in there without knocking into like 8 white dudes from Harvard. But that's not the same for like Yale. I don't really know any other comedy writers from Yale, but there is this like, like South Side created by a dude that fucking went to Harvard. You got Issa went to Stanford. Like, I think it's just either people that have the socioeconomic background to be able to come here and try to make it, which I wasn't really when I was broke for a very long time. But I think it's also one of those things where I was like smart enough to know that like I cannot be broke at some point. Like if I just continue being broke, which I have been doing for a long time, if I just do this for a few more years, on the other side of this is not being broke at all. And it's just, I think, people that are willing to like take that chance and see a future that is brighter, and that a lot of times just happens to be like black people that went to an Ivy League school.
That is so. They need to do a documentary about that, because it's so random at this point. Like, I didn't even know people that went to Ivy League schools. So I met you. I'm like, y'all went to Ivy League school.
Yeah.
Like y'all, you went to where? Get the fuck out of here. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't know it. Like, hey, you say you went to Chicago State. I'm like, hey, I know who you is. Oh, that's crazy.
I mean, I used to say this all the time, is like, going to Yale qualified me to be a PA. Like, if I hadn't been at Yale, I don't think I would have gotten like PA jobs, just because it was like so much about who you knew, having all these connections. And I didn't have any of that, but I had this thing that white people knew, and they were like, oh, well, that must mean you're smart enough to pick up water.
At least do that.
Yeah.
But that goes back to upstairs. We literally have to be overqualified. Like, I went to Yale. Okay, you could be a PA.
Yeah.
Well, I got a GED. Cool, you good. The white lady.
Right.
I mean, that's just the truth. It's the honest God truth. So look, now, you write on one of my favorite shows is a Black Lady sketch show. What's interestingly dope about that is and every season has gotten even better and better and better. Like, what is that environment like? Like, is it all female writers?
So I was only on the first season, but yeah, it was, and it like has continued to be, and it was really wild. Like, not even the makeup of the writer's room, like that was in and of itself something, but just like creating a world that was just black people specifically for comedy. Because prior to that, I feel like so much of comedy and the positions that I was put in as a comedy writer were to like other myself, were to be like, yeah, and a lot of the jokes and the things that observations that you're making are in contrast to white people, are about how you exist in white spaces and in a white world. And when you take all that away, it's just about jokes. It's just about what's funny. It's not about like putting yourself in opposition to anything. And that, I think, was just like a completely new skill that I really had to like develop on that show, because I had never been given that opportunity before.
So did you leave that show and went right into Abbott?
So then that's where the Quibi show came, and So I went.
Damn, all of us had a Quibi deal.
So I did. Yeah, you gotta get it while the getting's good.
I'm like, y'all paid me for no. I didn't even do shit. Yeah, it's weird. No,
It was weird, but I was like, yeah, let's get this money for this shit go under the way we all know it's about to.
Everybody,
they giving money away.
right? Everybody,
Yeah, I do a show.
Yeah,
Dude, that would be a great documentary.
that's like the shit, like the Fry Festival. With
I mean, it is
Fire
kind of like that. She raised so much money, like easily, with no real.
Yeah, so I left to do that, and while I waited for that to reach its inevitable end, Quinta was like, I got this show at ABC. If it gets picked up, would you like consider writing on it? And so then once I saw what was in the cards for Quibi, I was like, let me just chill and not take anything else to see what happens with this show, because it seems like a show that I would really want to write for. Because I came here wanting to write for network shows. Then I got here and saw who was writing for network shows and was like, oh, I don't think that's going to happen for my black ass right now. So this was another like full circle moment of me finally like getting to do the thing that I initially came out here to do.
It's so tough to create those rooms too, man. Like when I had my show on Fox, I think one of the frustrating things was this writing ranking system, right? It's fucking weird, right? Like I knew who I wanted to write, but then when this person is, what the fuck you talking about? Like, I don't know who this is. You know what I mean? Like I have friends that are writers that are my friends. This is what I like to, and it's. I think it's one of the things I'm proud of Quinta with is that I think she was very well informed on how to do things. I think some of us, I know I was like kind of blind in that shit. I was fighting for shit that I knew I couldn't really win, so I wish I figured out other ways to go around that, right? And I just didn't. I ain't know shit. Like working on a show like that. Because Quinta, is she in the room with y'all?
Sometimes. So like before we start production, she's in the room, but then like a couple months into us writing, we start shooting. So then she's on set most of the time.
How much do she trust y'all?
I mean, a lot. She has to, because she's literally not there most of the time.
She
And
busy.
she gets final say, and like she's there a lot for like the beginning, the crafting of the idea of the episode.
She's a showrunner, right?
Yeah, she's one of 3 showrunners we have.
Well, that's interesting. The reason I asked that too, because I felt like I mean, whenever I decided to come back to TV, but I feel like I was doing too much. I wish I would have trusted my writers more. Like I just was like, it's real, so we got to be right. You know, it's too much. It's stretching the fuck out, and that's why I asked, and I love to hear that actually. You know, because you know these rooms are all different, right? And you kind of spoke on that. Like, what are the differences? If you could be honest too, with the especially those rooms you've been in where like you might have been the only black person, or black woman, or black anything. What's the huge difference between where you, like a room like a black lady sketch show, even like Abbott Elementary, into those other rooms?
I mean, I think identity doesn't even play into like a lot of the differences in it. I think it has just a lot to do with the showrunners and the decisions that they make. Because really, it's just everybody on staff is dealing with the consequences of those decisions and dealing with the sort of atmosphere that's built. And it doesn't really matter. Honestly, I haven't seen it because I've seen black people be toxic, seen white people be toxic, seen lesbians be toxic. Like, everybody has the capacity to be an ass.
Yeah.
And it's just about, like, if the person who's in charge is going to be treating people right or they're not.
You know, that showrunner thing, you got to really select the right person, man. Like, I think one of the things I love about Insecure is that Prentice felt like he was like a perfect showrunner for Issa, like that partnership. And I think a lot of times, most artists don't know that, like when they're picking a show, some niggas don't even pay attention to who they picking. They're like, oh, okay, cool. Because it's so important to know who's going to fight for you and fight for your voice and making sure you're out on the same page. Because that can happen where you're not. Like, excuse me, but because you're doing everything on both. Because even like on the acting side, right? Like, what do you think? Like, what do you like doing most? Actually, do you like writing most, or do you like being in front of the camera?
I like writing most. Acting is just like fun. That's why I just wish I could do it more. Because I'm like, oh man, this shit is just like fun. Like just getting to like play make people laugh, getting to go the fuck home, having like people just treat you so much better when you're acting like you're right. Nobody give a fuck about you. You could be on fire and don't nobody care.
Wow.
But you could be fucking number 89 on the call sheet as an actor, and people will be like, "Hey, can I get some water? Put a straw in it." You know,
Put a straw. Yeah, not the straw.
I'm like, damn, no one has been nice to me. Let me see if I can get on the fucking show right quick.
That's so funny.
Look, confidence booster, real quick. We're gonna be number 89.
Is that what are you right now? Because I know it's a pilot going to South by Southwest. Are you just casted on that?
Yeah. That was something, one of the writer, Kevin Yee, just reached out to me because, I don't know, people listening to this might not know what I look like. I'm a genderqueer black lesbian. And I'm not, like a Shane type from the L Word. I'm just like a regular looking nigga. And so, people don't really call me in to audition a lot. Every role that I've ever gotten has just been someone knowing me, seeing my work, thinking I'm funny, and just being like, hey, will you come do this thing?
Are you looking to do that? Like, do you want your own show and be in charge of everything and star in it?
It depends on the show. Because like some of the stuff that I write, I'm like, yeah, I would write this for me to star. But there's other shows where I'm like, I'm not going to like shoehorn myself into being the star of the show if that's not what I think the show is meant to do. And, I'm in my 30s now. People might not want to see somebody in their 30s star in the show. Like, it's just like dealing with the realities of the industry, trying to like keep my expectations and my desires in line and not letting like sort of my ego drive my decision. Sort of just being like, if it happens, it happens, but I'm just going to like go to whatever is calling to me at the time. But if you're listening to this, like, please feel free to cast me in anything.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you watch the trailer of this pilot, you're really funny in it. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if, like, I think that's why I asked that. Like, yeah, you want your own show?
I mean, I would love to just be doing guest star and co-star and shit. You know what I mean? It's just like people don't think to put someone that looks like me in the grocery fucking clerk role, right? It's so much determined by like, well, this person ain't doing gay shit, so why would we put your gay ass in there? It's like, no, I could just like work at Blockbuster. Like people like me just like do random shit all the time.
Yes.
You could just put me in a random role because you think I'm funny. But I think the industry just like isn't in a place that's like that anymore. And we've started doing this thing where they just like will throw in random lesbian fucking roles, but then it's always like a Taylor Swift looking motherfucker. Like it's not somebody who it's like, because a lot of times also it's like a surprise. It's like, oh, they gay, you didn't see it coming. Ha ha.
Surprise.
Yeah, because I used to have a talent agent, and the shit they were sending me on was like so like I was like, I feel bad about like reading what you think that I'm like meant to do is like making me feel bad. I don't know that I want to put myself through this all the time.
That's so weirdly interesting. That's why, like, I know with me, I like casting my own stuff, right? Because I think it is just about being funny. And it's always weird what they think the world looks like, which is why, like, I remember, like, before they picked the show, they like, well, you need a random white person. I was like, what?
A random white person?
You want me to just write in a white now? We just shot the fucking pilot. What are you gonna do? What the fuck is role gonna be? I don't know. This is what I pitched. They're like, well, just make them. I like that don't even make fucking sense.
You gotta have a random white person. Man.
It's so weird because, but then like, somebody like you who we see all the time, like, and in my lives, my friends, like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, why would they just be working at the grocery store or hanging out at the gym or fucking going to the movies or who I go drink with and shit? It's like, it's always weird what Hollywood think the world looks like.
Or what they want your world to look like, right? Because it's so much about like, oh, but we can put this person in your world. But then if you remember like when Girls was out, it was like, no, but black people don't exist in this world, in this subset of New York.
Who was friends? Who they had on friends?
They ain't have no random black
in
person.
New York City, this was the whitest of New York you ever seen.
Sex and the City was like that too.
Yeah.
Of New York City. When you go live in New York City, you like, this diverse ass fucking place.
Right.
I remember the first day when I moved to New York the first day I'm at this little cheap 99-cent pizza place. And I saw a big black dude with dreads, this gay Puerto Rican dude, this white dude who looked like worked on Wall Street, and like some random Colombian dude, and they were like all best friends. I'm like, where the fuck did y'all meet? Where the fuck did y'all don't eat at?
They're like at this pizza shop.
At the spot.
But they were like best friends. And like living in New York, I was like, man, TV fucked me up with what I thought New York was actually. I'm like, New York might be the most diverse place in America actually. Because you have people from all over the world there. I made so many different friends there. I was like, dang, I live in segregated ass Chicago. Just what like it looks like to have like random friends you just meet. Now, have you only lived in LA? Did you live in New York anytime?
Only for like 3 months when I was working on the show. And I lived in Minneapolis for a summer.
Minneapolis?
Yeah.
What took you to Minneapolis? What happened?
I graduated, didn't know what the hell I wanted to do.
Oh,
and I got
wow.
a job at a social justice nonprofit.
I knew it had something to do with
I'm
justice.
like, wait a minute. Minneapolis. You was out there working for Prince? Yeah, I worked for Prince for 2 years. Prince wanted to do a sitcom.
We're trying to figure it out.
Like, what? Yeah, it was just called Prince.
That's hilarious.
That's crazy. Like, so, do you want to get in a feature space at some point?
Yeah, so I did a independent feature called Suicide Kale a while back, and yeah, now I'm trying to do it. Yeah, it's funny because like we just did that on our own. Like I used the money that I got from I was in Transparent the second season for a few episodes. I just took all that money and went and made a movie with my friends. And after that, I was like, oh, and then the next time we do a movie, I can do it the right way. I can go get this money and like get it funded and blah, 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 blah. And as you can see, as I sit here, you don't know that everybody in this room knows I haven't made another fucking movie. It's not quite working out.
Oh, shit, you can do that. Like, as long as you got, everything's about who you know. And I think, the feature space is really interesting. But even though now they kind of on bullshit again, because like, everybody, I hate when Hollywood gets cheap, but like, y'all got it. Why y'all pulling back money? Y'all made $1 gazillion all these years. Now I can be like, wait, we ain't got
They're
it.
just liars.
It's like, come on, fam. I know you got it. You gonna tell me
It's just who
got it?
they giving it to.
It's who they giving it to.
Because
Like-
it's wild because like now I'm in these rooms, right? Everyone acts like, oh man, it's such a that's the hard part is getting in the rooms where you get to pitch and you get to tell people these ideas, and you got the people looking back to you like, and we care so much about LGBTQIA plus fucking content. We care so much about black content, George Floyd, and they saying all this shit. Because to them, having that conversation is doing enough. They're like, well, now we're talking about all these niggas. We're talking about all these gay-ass motherfuckers. Like, we did it. Hurrah. And it's like, but you're still not putting the money into that content. You're still not making this stuff. Just sitting here and talking to us and hearing our ideas only to be like, well, it sounds like that's not going to make us any money. I was like, y'all don't seem to have a good idea on what is going to make any money. Like, it's not like y'all have 100% success rate. Y'all be making white shit that fails all the time.
They make terrible shit all the time. And it's like, because the people don't even realize how much money is wasted on pilots, right? Like pilot season.
Oh my God. What was that just, the Sam
Levinson?
Yes.
Yeah. 75 million.
Yes.
75
You know what I'm
million.
talking about? I know you know because I stalked your Twitter. I saw you.
I mean, basically, HBO was doing this show with The Weeknd, and there was a woman who was like
that
directing,
crazy shit.
and then they were like, "This is too lady heavy, and we don't like your vision. Bring in Sam Levinson." Scrap. They had made everything besides the last episode, and they threw all that out, gave them $75 million more, and said, "Just redo it."
75
They gave him
million.
$75 million more dollars.
More dollars.
More.
Sheesh.
Meanwhile, they taking all that shit off HBO Max, canceling like Gordita Chronicles, like
They canceled Southside.
cancel Southside,
Man.
Damn.
but they don't have no money.
That is really, like, what did they use the $75 million to shoot?
Anybody know? April? $75 million, huh?
This ain't Game of Thrones, right?
Well, I mean, it's, I think when you go over budget and you go over time, like that shit adds up. When you're doing 16-hour days aren't supposed to be 16 hours. It costs a lot of money. When you're doing that all the time because you're not prepared.
But to refund that, and that's what we were talking about earlier, like we have to be so on point. So like it's even like some of these movies I do, right? And you can tell about different budgets and like I heard one movie I did, and they kept like adding shit to it. I'm like, wait a minute, how much fucking money I got? You motherfuckers. We was negotiating, act like you had this shit. Now, we doing what? We shooting what?
They needed some petty cash.
What day?
Dang.
Yeah, this is, and it's supposed to be a different version now of the show, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. 75
A
million
creepy
more.
version, apparently.
That's what I heard. It's like really creepy. Like, shit crazy, man. Like, what's your dream network to work with? Do you have like a network you're like, damn, I really want to fuck with them?
No, I mean, my dream is to do independent television. I ain't trying to give all these corporations money. I wish there was like an independent TV market the way that there was like an indie feature market.
Might be something to...
I know. I mean, maybe Tubi will figure it out.
Yeah. Oh, Tubi is on it.
Tubi, boy, they don't give a fuck. If another nigga tell me he got something coming out on Tubi, like, nigga, you on your act.
I don't need to.
Yeah, I got a Tubi movie tomorrow, man. Check it out. Nigga, what? Why you got one? What's it called? It's called Computers.
Computers.
Hey, this nigga got it. You go to Tubi like, this nigga do got a movie on here.
That's him.
That goddamn bartender got a fucking movie on Tubi.
I got this movie on
I don't
Tubi.
acting. Now they asked me if I wanted to do it. I was walking down the street. Handed me a script. I was like, fuck it. They kept on what I had on. None of this shit is clear, but hey, it is what it is. Tubi don't care.
Shot that shit in a couple hours.
They shot a whole feature in 2 hours. It took us 2 hours to shoot the 2-hour movie.
One take, man. One take Tubi.
One take Tubi is like, hey man, you know I got to move over Tubi. I'm like, God damn, everybody got a Tubi movie. Which is interesting. You know what's funny about that? Even though I'm making fun of them, I see Tubi being huge one day, actually. Because people are too fascinated by it now. And then once they start making dope shit, like for real, or get the right people that want to do independent shit, you never fucking know.
Yeah. Yep.
I have a feeling, because it's like, I think people are tired of like, because Netflix has become the big thing. And Tubi gonna fuck around, fuck everybody else. They're like, Tubi. The Tubi Awards.
The Tubi Awards.
Yep, and then Tubi gonna be telling you, we ain't got it.
Oh, no. So if they get too big.
They get too big.
They'll
They're
get
like,
$1 kajillion. Like,
we ain't got it.
Shit. I ain't,
But
man.
I'll see you at reshoots tomorrow.
I feel like that's how Tubi would talk to you. Like, I mean, shit. Whatever y'all got, what y'all got. The movie done.
Right now?
We ain't got
We ain't got it on me.
We need more money to finish the movie. Hey, man, this finished. Wherever it is, where you ran out at is the end of the movie.
That's how Colorado did Dion, huh? They ain't Tubi'd him. They ain't had the money yet.
That's funny with Deion Sanders. Like, how the fuck you take a job? They telling you they ain't got the money.
They ain't got it.
That's weird. Do you go back to? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no. Yeah, that was a good question. Do you go back to Chicago often?
Before the pandemic, I was going back like a couple times a year because I'm the oldest of 7, so I got a little brother who's still in high school.
You from one of them Southern households. 1 to 7. Are you what are you, like the oldest?
The oldest, yeah. My parents got pregnant with me when they were 19.
Wow.
Yeah, incredible.
You the OG.
And they still in South Holland?
They're all over the place. My stepmom is in South Holland. My dad's in Chicago. My mom is in Calumet City.
Okay.
Wow.
Well, here she go. Honorary Chicagoan right there.
Cal City. That's
Cal City.
Oh.
My auntie in Cal City.
Okay.
well, it's interesting too, like, being the oldest, you probably like the first person to leave and do everything. Like, how do your family feel about everything you've done? Are they proud of you? Are they excited for you?
Yeah, they're very proud.
Yeah.
And it's a lot, since I'm like the oldest of sort of my generation, it sort of opened the doors for people to leave. And a lot of them came back. Like a lot of my cousins and stuff, like, still live in Chicago, but they went to school somewhere else. They like went and worked somewhere else. They traveled. And it's just because like they saw me do it and were like, it's just truly that thing of just like, once you know something is out there, it opens your mind to like, maybe I can do that. I just feel like the more people, especially like where we're from, like just learn that there's other shit out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, that's interesting too, because it's like, I feel like I was there for my family too. Like when I first, especially when I told everybody I want to do comedy, they're like, do what? You want to be no teacher? Like it was the same shit. Everybody, if you look smart in your family, everybody wants you to be a teacher. You get on glasses, you gonna teach. You're like, motherfucker, I can't see.
I can't see.
So you want to be teaching a bunch of kids? I can't see shit. But no, it's like you do set the example, especially by being somebody to do something in the arts. You know what I'm saying? Because Chicago's a blue collar city. And so a lot of that stuff is new. Like, and then like once I found success, and my family's so supportive. I love them for that. They'll show up at all the screenings and shit and
Matching
premieres,
shirts.
matching shirts.
Yeah, yes, they will.
Do your family do the same thing? Like, do they show
Oh
up
yeah,
and
they
stuff?
had the bootleg Abbott shirts before they start selling them.
Okay.
And I have a sister and brother that like live out here now too. So my sister's like a model and actor, and my little brother works in the art department. Which is
Wow.
like, you really don't see no black people in the art department. So I'm like trying to tell you, like it's not even just like writing or acting. Like there's so many jobs and there is so much. There's more nepotism on crews than it is like for acting and shit. You talk to the camera department, it's like, yeah, my niece, she over there doing wardrobe, and my son is the AC. Like it's all these white people, they got these good union jobs that black people just don't know exist.
No, they're out there.
Well, that's one of the things I always try to figure out how to, go back to Chicago with that information, right? Because you do want, I want young people to understand, like, because I look at how creative we are as black people, first of all, and so like to have them in the art departments and then lighting and then fucking all those are really good ass jobs, like really. Like, brother, you could get a job where you just drive shit around all day.
Before everything that happens in the real world happens in set life.
Mm-hmm.
You have somebody that's making food, somebody that's working lights, you have EMT, you have everything.
It's a job for everything.
Yeah.
If there's kids on set, there's teachers.
Fucking, you could be a tutor, and them tutors are fucking crazy. them children tutors on the set.
Yeah.
Some of the craziest people I've ever met on the set is tutors. Cause they be like controlling.
Oh, yeah.
They like, lady, this ain't your fucking kid. Stop grabbing them like that. I had to check with the tutors one time when Jude was doing something. He's like, he's first of all, fucking relax. We just did the Christmas movie, man. That tutor lady was like, she was out of her goddamn mind. She was like, I don't know what that's about. Tutors are really think they high ranking. Sitting next to the director with her arms folded, they were like, "What the fuck is that?" Like, that's a tutor. What the fuck she doing at Video Village? I don't know. She's supposed to have a little chair somewhere else. Just sitting there chilling. Oh, that's a good take. What the fuck? Who was that? That's the tutor. Who the fuck told you to come to Video Village? Okay, so who are some of your dream people you want to work with?
I mean, Donald Glover was a big part of me wanting to be, because this nigga was rapping about right. And I was like, oh, that sounds like my sort of personality would fit in there. So I mean, that's like sort of been the day one dream is to work with him. But now, like, honestly, a lot of my dreams are to just work with my friends. Like, to be able to, like, be in a position where I can hire all these people that I'm like, this is one of the funniest people in the world. And how have they not gotten on yet? How are they not, especially, like, with comedies, and you see these, like, comedic actors.
Man.
Or it could just be a funny person who's acting. That, like, it's just wild to see.
Get me
You open it up.
Don't get me
started, please.
Because it is something weird about that to me, where they don't reach out to more comics to star in comedies. And then you got these guys who like they don't bring anything to it because they only bring in whatever that's on that fucking paper. Like, I'll never forget. I know I told this story once or twice. Like, there's people who just be on paper. It's insane. Like, I was doing this cartoon called Craig of the Creek, and Terry Crews is in the cartoon. We got Tisha Campbell in it. It's just a great group of people, and we all kind of started like freestyling the scene. Man, the way that nigga was sweating. He kept trying to go back to the lines.
He had to get back to it, man.
Yeah. Wait, question. Are we doing the script? Or are we going to just... Wait, man, shut your ass up, nigga. Get into it. Damn, I can't believe I said it on here. But it was just interesting. It was just fucking interesting. Like, damn, this nigga really...
Yeah.
Jesus.
Gotta do it a certain way. Actor.
But I'm like, dude, we was having so you got teacher can't be like, we just having fun, just playing with stuff.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, and then go right back to the line.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, brother, you ain't gonna play with us?
Right.
Nah, man, it's just not in the script, right? Try to hold the mic like this. It's not the script.
He
Which
stayed up.
like and that's not to say that there's no room for like actors in comedy. I think it is.
No.
I think it's just when I get frustrated when I see the same quote unquote comedic actors get cast in pilots over and over and over
yeah.
again. They're like, well, we keep canceling these shows. I had no idea why it's not working. It's like there's a lot of reasons it's not working. You keep hiring these same two white dudes that got an overall deal, and they keep putting out this bullshit that don't nobody think is funny. And you keep hiring these two white people that aren't funny, but you put them in a sitcom one time, so now all of a sudden they're comedic actors. It's just like broad. If you just broaden your world,
It's laziness, man. It's
Yeah.
like, and the weird part is, you have more access to see more people now.
Yep.
Which is like, so you can still sit in your office, just go on a computer. I just think people be chilling. Like I say this all the time. 1 year in my career, maybe in my late 50s, I want to run a studio. I want a fucking studio exec job. I'll pay for that shit. I'll pay them to let me do that shit for a year. Just to see, like, because I'm like, what? It just doesn't make any sense to me, some of these decisions.
yeah. And to see how the PLC fare in those systems too, because like I think about like what's her name from there was like a side character in New Girl, and now once again she's in a side character, and like granted the main character is a woman of color, Gina Rodriguez, but it's still like any other time, any other show, it's a hitch. It's a New Girl's on like 6 seasons. Next time around, if that's a white actor, next pilot season, she's a star or something. But you got these side characters, these women of color, also like the girl that was in Mr. Mayor, and now she's a side character or something. They just keep being side characters. It's like, wait, so then why aren't these women of color getting the opportunity then to be the star? So even in that system, y'all still in this bad system, which like I don't think that's how it should work. But even in that system, y'all still doing stupid shit.
But that's why you have to kind of like. That's what I love about you saying you want to work with your friends, because you do have to fight for that, and you do have to Wu-Tang it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You do have to Wu-Tang it. Like I look at like once again, Insecure is one of those weird blueprints of how to do that. They ended the show and everybody started getting their own shit, and I'm like, damn. That's how you do that shit. And so I think it can happen. I think we do have to figure out collectively even how to push some of our friends, the ones that are comfortable with that.
Right.
Because some of them scared to say that shit.
Yeah. And even like the guest star shit, because it's like all those people that had, 2-3 episodes on Insecure, but now if we pitching somebody for Abbott, all we got to do is say, oh, they were on Insecure. All right, they through. They in. Networks got no problem with that because they got this one credit. So it's like even putting people in a position where then like people can use this Abbott credit. It's like, oh yeah, I did a small, because also these people don't watch TV. So they don't even know. It's not like they're like, oh yeah, now remember you killed it on Abbott. It's just like, just that word. Oh, we know that's a show that people like. If someone hired them for that show, then clearly they're good enough for this show. Like all this shit is just like the tiniest of credentials opens the door for so many other things.
Hey, look, I am one of the beneficiaries. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I benefited from it.
Yeah, yes.
But what's the word? Beneficiaries?
Beneficiary.
Beneficiary?
Yeah, that word right
Beneficiary?
Beneficiaries.
Beneficiaries? You know, it's one of those words. I remember like, I forgot what other word I could say. Michael Che would not let me live it down. What the fuck was it? I can't even remember. I got to remember one day. He to this day, he'll text that shit to me and I get really mad. But it's like, because there's certain words you just can't say. Beneficiary. You know what I mean? It's benefit. I mean, I'm a person that been like, I know it get out there for me. Like, some people trying to run away from shit. Like, nope, I won't. Thank you, Jordan Peele. I appreciate every fucking thing you did, brother. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
And so, which is interesting though. But that's that's another creative space too, where he created something and he knew it would benefit all of us. So if like, I love that Abbott is there. I love that Insecure is there. I love like fucking Atlanta's there. We saw what those guys did. Like they all fucking movie stars now and shit. So I think if we still create avenues where we're comfortable making everybody star, because it doesn't happen with all the shows, but only I think the ones with people who are the stars and showrunners and what have good intention. Because it don't happen for all the shows. You know what I'm saying? Right. Which is interesting. That's a whole nother conversation though. I'll go there like, okay, I want to know the shows I think of it, but
I know I want to play a quick game with it unless you had another question.
No, go ahead.
All right, let's play a quick game, man. This or that, two options. You choose one. We're going to go Chicago or L.A. That was always tough.
There's so many caveats there
I know.
to be.
So we got to put all the caveats together and which one you choosing, Chicago or L.A.
Chicago.
All right, that was honest.
I don't know why.
Here we get knew that was
Oh,
coming.
I think Chicago is just like such a more livable city. It's like has green space. It's more black people. I think like the day-to-day food, like LA food is like if you want to pay a bunch of money and you're like going to restaurants, LA has Chicago, I think. But if you just want to go to a random spot and just get food you like, I think Chicago has LA beat.
Damn right. Best food in the world, America.
Man, it is. Kanye West or Common?
Common.
Easy.
I'm not going with a fucking anti-Semite.
All right, well, I'll leave that one alone. Okay, mild sauce and wings or Italian beef?
Mild sauce.
Mild sauce and wings.
Yeah.
Shit, I don't know about that. I love the Italian beef. So I'll go to the great lengths of the world to get Italian beef.
You go. They don't have it. Do we have Italian beef out here?
I'm not lying. Portillo's is the only thing we got now.
Sure is right here.
And then my man, remember Chicago's, they didn't close that down.
Oh, yeah, it's out. It's done.
Oh, I was so sick I drove past. It's called something else. I was like, what the fuck is this place? Like, y'all still got some of that loose Italian beef meat? I should call that. Y'all get a little loose meat left?
Loose meat is crazy.
He could have sold me that meat. I ain't gonna lie to you.
You a Harold's uncle. You was Harold's though, because you was out there. So
Yeah.
not Uncle Remus. You ever had Uncle Remus before? You ain't missing nothing.
It was like we had Sharks. That was like the alternative is like getting lemon pepper wings.
Yeah, lemon pepper. Yeah, especially with the sauce on them. Yeah, I'm yes.
Sharks.
Twitter.
I
Damn.
can't sign in my head.
There she go.
I missed the lemon pepper. That was that thick ass lemon pepper.
Yeah, it was.
Too much.
Yeah, there was a lot of lemon pepper on the damn wing.
Too much lemon and too much
bigger
pepper.
than the wing.
Like I tell like LA they use real lemon pepper. I don't know what they use in Chicago. That's just like sugar.
Sugar pepper lemon.
That sugar pepper on my fries.
Twitter or Instagram?
Twitter.
You have to write more on there. You post pictures, like posting pictures and stuff?
I mean, yeah. Instagram has just moved from what it was supposed to be, I think.
Yeah.
It's too much shit going on for me.
Shit, Twitter is too. Shit. To my Elon Musk world.
Yeah, Twitter is turning.
Yeah, I guess you can still, but I can still like tweet a joke, no picture, no nothing, and it still get traction. I can't just put a picture on it. No one's ever going to see it because it's not a reel, it's not a story. It's like the thing it was intended for is not good at anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, they doing the algorithm shit is weird.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to post a reel for people to see it.
Yeah.
That's different. Last one. To watch a comedy or watch a drama?
A comedy.
Easy.
Yeah, easy.
Well, what's your favorite comedy movie?
Wedding Crashers.
Interesting.
That's a good
Yeah,
one.
it really throws people off when I say that.
Yeah, I was looking at you like, you look like you like, I really didn't want to say that, but that is my movie.
No,
It is.
It's such a good movie. Like it's that the way Will Ferrell guest stars and shit is the way. That's why I do it so much.
Okay.
Because he does it all the time. They don't diminish his fucking value. You know what I'm saying? He's just like, fuck it. I like use my friends. This is funny. I'll do it. One scene, I'll be there. Give me one day.
Yep. I mean, because when I was, that was the era where all those fucking people like
Took off.
knocked up. Wedding Crashers.
Knocked up old school.
Super bad.
Superbad.
Even like Easy A. Like all that shit came out around the same time, and it was like. Oh yeah, right. People like comedies. We put them in the movie theater. People go see them. And it's
Just
wild to think of now. Nobody does it anymore.
Right.
But
Just make it funny. That's what it is. It's just like we went through a weird time where funny got too constructed. Them shits was just silly.
Yeah.
Like Wedding Crashes is such a fun. I mean, like one of my favorite scenes.
40-year-old version.
He's tied up. He's scared of the brother. The brother's in the room, comes in.
Yes.
He's just like, hey man, he's so scared. Funny movie.
And I think a lot of it gets like passed off as like, oh well, you couldn't tell, you'd get in trouble for telling those jokes now, and it's like, but those jokes aren't what made that movie.
No,
It's not like if I took those jokes out, this shit's still fucking funny,
funny, yeah.
and it's still possible to be very funny without quoted like punching down or whatever, or even just using specific words they got. You like Dr. F word. I remember being like, I know I'm not supposed to laugh at Paige and Dr. F word, but goddamn it, I'm laughing right now. I'm very sorry, but it's making me laugh. It's tickling.
It's not, it's not like you said. It's not about like when even you think about old school, right? I don't even have to remember things line by line. But he's shooting himself in the neck with a fucking the gun. It's like, oh shit. Oh shit, man. You crazy, man.
So yeah, I miss those kind of movies. I think we could still make that type of movie again.
I believe it's happening. I'll go when we did Vacation Friends was that, and to have that silliness in it.
Yep.
And then even like a couple of things I've done recently, because I'm like, it's such a big deal to just do some silly shit. To me, I don't know. I don't want to overthink no comedy, man.
But then they putting them on streaming instead of in theaters. That shit should be in theaters.
It really should be. But everybody's scared of the risk now.
Yeah.
You know, that shutdown scared the shit out of everybody. Mm-hmm. I don't know, when the last time we have a comedy in the theaters? Damn. Mm-hmm.
It's real rare. And then now I got to be starring John Cena or Mark Wahlberg or somebody. Like, it's the only shit that's getting
But they should put it in there. Like, shit, like we had Cena and I should throw it in the movies.
Yeah.
Let's get some of this Cena money.
Cena money.
Shit. Straight up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something funny too, because I can't tell nobody what it is.
But I mean, it's also just the people that aren't going to reinvest that, right? Like, that's what
some
you see.
People could do what they want to. Like, if they fight for that. You know, like Ryan Reynolds, if he want that shit in the theater, he'll go there.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well.
Yeah.
Did you have anything you wanted to throw out there or tell people where they can find you?
Yeah, you can find me at BisHilarious on Twitter and Instagram. And yeah, watch Abbott Elementary. If you're at South by Southwest, go see the pilot.
Go see that pilot. And watch it. Abbott Elementary.
Appreciate you coming to kick it with us.
So many damn awards. Y'all tired of those awards? Y'all got all the awards.
I mean, we're not tired of them because we don't get to go.
Damn. That was the saddest shit ever.
I'll be sitting at my home watching them on TV saying, what you do?
That sounded so fucking sad.
It is sad.
Hey, man, she said it.
Quinta. One of these, you can go to 1,500 award shows. Just let the writers be your dates.
Yeah, she
No,
said.
she does. Well, she rotates us out.
Oh.
Like she rotates her plus one. She takes so we get to go one every 13 award shows. We get to go.
Okay. That's so dope. She working. She thought of that too.
It's not her fault. It's not her fault. She's not the one doing it.
So what? Everybody should rotate their plus one. Not just her. Tyler.
Nah, Tyler.
I ain't got no plus ones to rotate.
It's funny because
the plus one.
at the NAACP Awards, I won. I was there, but I was in the balcony. And in my Instagram comments, all the cast is like, "Where were you? Why did we see you?" I was like, "Nick, because I was in the nosebleed."
You should have just came downstairs and stood at the back. Oh, it's our category. Excuse me. And it was out of it. You just go. You would have been just like, where you come from? I was up there. All right, y'all. Brittani, thank you for coming and hanging out with us. So dope. So happy for you. So proud of you. Keep killing it. Hope to work together someday. That'll be dope.
Yeah, thank you for
real.
having me. Been a huge fan for a long time.
Appreciate that.
It is.
All right, Ralph. This is another episode of Keeping It Real with
Young Wayne.
That's right. Let's go get some lunch.
All right, we out of here.
Real, keeping it real.
That was a Headgum podcast.